Good morning, this is Omar Diaz for Omar Global Media. It is almost 1 o'clock. Today is the 24th of March 2022. This is the news coming up on Global News this morning. I'm going to read something that has catch my attention related to the COVID-19. Headline said COVID-19, what wastewater data shows cases are rising across Canada. Surveillance of wastewater data is suggesting that COVID-19 cases are on the rise again in Canada as provinces easy public health restrictions. That's predictable. The resurgence is taking place in Ontario, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and part of British Columbia, according to an analysis by Global News. The reality is that as all of the restriction came off as terms masking and the other measures which have been in place for some period of time, we can expect that more cases are going to be out there, said Dr. Stephen Hundry, chair of the Research Advisory Group of the Canadian Water Network COVID-19 Wastewater Coalition. The next few days to weeks are going to be important to watch, he said. The wastewater signals are correlated with the reported infections through testing, but they paint a more accurate and full picture of how prevalent COVID-19 actually is in the community, expert says. People infected with COVID-19 can shed the coronavirus through their stool even if they don't have any symptoms, making the testing of the community savage an important tool that can work in tandem with clinical testing data, according to the Public Health Agency of Canada, PHAC. Wastewater testing provides a true picture of COVID-19 community health, especially in the current situation when the resources for clinical testing may limit in some areas, say Anna Madison, a PHAC spokesperson, in an email statement to Global News. So what is Canada's sewage water tell us about the latest COVID-19 spread? In the province of Ontario, following a tip in February, COVID-19 cases started spiking in earlier March, coinciding with the province face reopening. This is according to the Ontario COVID-19 Science Advisory Table, which is monitoring data from across 101 wastewater treatment plant, pumping station, and sewer shafts in 34 public health units. Dr. Peter Choney, a professor of medicine and epidemiology at the University of Toronto and a scientific director of Ontario's COVID-19 Science Advisory Table, said since Tuesday they have seen a relatively steep increase in coronavirus prevalence in the wastewater consistently in all regions in the province. He said together with test positivity, the wastewater data is an early indicator that, as expected, we are seeing a resurgence now. There is a lag between what we are seeing in wastewater and in case count, John said. It remains to be seen how much of what we are seeing in wastewater will eventually translate also into hospital occupancy, he added. To date, approximately 7.7% of Ontario residents have had a confirmed case of COVID-19. You got it over here, 2020. You see this? This one is from just now, I guess. Julian said since only 10% of all infections are reported through testing, the actual case count in the province is likely 10 times higher. This 20,000 cases are more likely 20,000 cases. In fact, when we use wastewater directly to triangulate case counts, we estimate that we are at between 20 and 25,000 cases of infections daily, he said. In Alberta, is a similar story in Alberta, where an upward trend started in early March, according to wastewater samples collected, processed, and reports by teams at the University of Alberta and the University of Calgary. This data covers more than 80% of Alberta's population. Harley, Professor Emeritus at the University of Alberta, says recent data does suggest that cases are climbing back up in the province, but not dramatically so as yet. There is all of Calgary and the surrounding area. You got it. The data is coming from the Center of Health Informatics, Cumming School of Medicine, University of Calgary. To date, approximately 12.1% of Alberta residents have had a confirmed case of COVID-19. Official data may undercount to the true number of cases due to limitations on the availability of tests. As of March 21, 2022, Alberta is reporting data weekly on Wednesdays. Last updates, March 24, 2022 at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Saskatchewan researchers at the University of Saskatchewan are keeping a close eye on the wastewater trends of COVID-19 in Saskatoon, Prince Albert, and North Battleford. As of March 16, the barrel load in Saskatoon, the wastewater increased at 66.3% compared to the weekly average of the previous week. This increase in barrel RNA load is indicated as an increase of SARS-CoV-2 infections in Saskatoon, which is a partially vaccinated population, may or may not be reflected the new case numbers on coming weeks. The U.S. Saskatoon Research note. The trend over the last 3 weeks has been increased, which indicate a double wave for the Omicron wave driven by the VA.2 subvariant, they said. In Prince Alberta, the barrel load of wastewater was up by 96.1% in North Battleford by 93.2% data show. Now in British Columbia, however, the increase is less prominent for now. This is according to the surveillance of 5 wastewater treatment plants, presenting 50% of the province's population. Out of 5 regions being monitored by the BC Centre of Disease Control, VCCDC, and Metro Vancouver, COVID-19 prevalence was only seen rising in Fraser and North Shore. To date, approximately 6.8% of British Columbia residents have had a confirmed case of COVID-19. Official case data may undercount the true numbers of cases due to limitations on the availability of tests. VC reports both confirmed cases and presumptive epidemiologically linked cases and their total. Experts say wastewater surveillance has proven to be an effective tool for tracking COVID-19 trends and predicting future outbreaks. When we are using wastewater surveillance, it is a tool that helps you recognize very early how much community activity there is before people became sick, said Dr. Donald Bent, an infectious disease specialist and medical microbiologist at the McGill University Health Center. It is also a harbinger in increasing hospitalization and deaths, he said. Going forward, wastewater monitoring is going to be very important, both in the short term for COVID-19 and in the longer term for other type of germs, being said. However, this type of surveillance also has a limitation as it does not indicate which individuals, households, or age group are infected, he said. Okay, so here's the number, 3,422,059 confirmed case in Canada. We got in Canada 37,310 people. Like fully vaccinated people are 85.9, 21%. Boost. This is my case. I got boost a long time ago actually. 83 percentage. So it's not too bad. Okay, so this is the now this one catch my attention again. This one. This is global news we are reading on today, on 24th March 2022. That is on the website of the Canadian leading TV channel, which is global, global news. Now, Ottawa Convoy deemed national security threat a week before Emergencies Act. I want to read this. Actually, follow this situation. When the so-called Freedom Convoy pivoted to Bitcoin and other digital assets as a source of fund when traditional channels were cut off, Canadian authorities ratcheted up attempts to police the cryptocurrency space. Now, with the convoy's blockades clear and some of those financial pressures relaxing, continued effort to recover crypto from organizers are facing technological hurdles. Ontario Police deemed the so-called Freedom Convoy a threat to national security 1 week before the federal government invoked the Emergencies Act. Police have described the unprecedented invocation of the legislation as critical to their effort to end the demonstrations, which saw participants encamped in downtown residential streets for 3 weeks. Yet it is unclear at this point why it took 7 days before the federal government invoked the Emergencies Act, or why it took police an additional week beyond that to begin clearing out the convoy, which is identified as a threat to national security through the Provincial Operational Intelligence Bureau on or about the 7th of February, said Thomas Corrick, Commissioner of the Ontario Provincial Police. Corrick did not say during testimony before the House of Commons Public Safety Committee on Thursday that what led the police to make that assessment. He was asking specifically whether the determination was made due to any ties to far-right groups. This is not the appropriate venue to get into the specifics of intelligence, Carrick responds. The convoy arrived in the nation's capital on February 28. Weekly reports emerged from local residents describing encounter with participants that they said constituted abuse, harassment, intimidation, and hateful conduct. Those were in addition to complain about the blaring of trucks horns and air horns that continued in many areas over the course of the 3 weeks despite court injunctions ordering them to stop. Ottawa police repeatedly came under heated criticism from residents struggling to understand why the force allowed the convoy to encamp in residential streets which surround Parliament Hill, as well as over concerns about a lack of enforcement of the laws and local ordinance. Convoy organizers and participants repeatedly refused to leave. On February 14, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau invoked the Emergencies Act, which has never before been used, and which granted a range of additional powers that police have billed as crucial to allowing them to prohibit pedestrian and vehicles access to a secure zone. And it wasn't until February 18 that a multi-jurisdictional police effort began to clear out the convoy. Steve Bell, interim chief of the Ottawa Police Service, said there have been 230 arrests, with 180 people criminally charged with more than 400 criminal counts to date. Bell said no charges to date have been laid in relation to weapons, but that investigations continue. At no point did we lay any firearms-related charge, Bell said. Nothing that information and intelligence was received prior to demobilization of the demonstration around the existence of firearms within the footprint. Investigation related to weapons offenses continue up now the completion of them. We are be able to provide information if there are ultimately charges laid. He was asking whether he will describe the convoy as peaceful and obstructive. Obstructive? No, I won't, he answered. So that's it. I got it. We got 15 minutes to read these websites. Thank you very much for your attention, and see you guys later on.